What in the devil's name is this?
For some people, sushi or even a peanut butter sandwich might seem unusual, but in China, there is a long tradition of eating foods that some people may find, well, unpalatable. So let's look at 15 unusual foods that only exist in China. Chicken family jewels.
Precious.
Chicken family jewels has been particularly popular in Hong Kong, but is eaten in other parts of China as well. These chicken reproductive body parts look a lot like small white beans, so if you didn't know what they were, you might be fooled. They may resemble boring little beans, but they are 100% not a vegetarian dish. This Chinese delicacy is usually fried or boiled, and they have a soft, almost chewy consistency that may not appeal to some.
It's too much! It's too much!
If you find yourself searching for a reason to try these chicken body parts, consider that many in China believe they can improve male prowess and that they are also good for women's skin tone. You'll have to decide if they are worth trying for yourself, but there is a reason chicken family jewels are one of the unusual foods that only exist in China. And we suspect the family jewels thing is a part of it. Seahorses.
You like seafood, do you?
Come on! Seahorses are unique-looking sea creatures that are popular attractions at many aquariums. Comic book fans will tell you that Aquaman rides a giant seahorse in some of his undersea adventures. But in Chinese culinary tradition, seahorses mean something else. In China, seahorses are actually an everyday kind of street food. People who enjoy this seafood say it has the consistency of squid and is often found on kebabs and in soups. Some in China believe seahorses to have medicinal properties and point to the proverb that says seahorses can keep an old person young.
Wow.
If you do intend to give this unusual food a try, keep in mind that seahorses have some sharp edges. These edges can cut your mouth, so in a sense, this is an unusual food that can bite you back. Century eggs.
Yeah, it's old.
These unusual eggs have more names than Diddy. They are called 1,000-year-old eggs, as well as century eggs, millennium eggs, skin eggs, or black eggs. But regardless of the name you prefer, sorry to say, they don't really sound particularly appetizing.
Tell me about it.
Try not to be too disappointed, but these eggs are actually not 1,000 or even 100 years old. Producing these unique eggs using the traditional method involves wrapping them in a specially treated clay for 10 days or more. A commercial process was also developed to mass produce this food. This process involves soaking the eggs in a chemical solution for a period of time. Both methods change some of the proteins and help to preserve the actual eggs. Tests have shown that the commercial process is less effective than the traditional method, so changes have been explored. Turtle shell jelly.
I like turtles.
Okay.
While jelly is a familiar food to most people, jelly made from the shells of turtles is a unique and unusual food that only exists in China. This food is made with several different herbs and the bottom shells of different species of turtle. Like some of the other foods on this unusual list, tortoise jelly is eaten by many in China because they believe it has special medicinal qualities that have the power to improve health. In China, it is believed that this dessert can improve circulation and kidney functioning, as well as improve the skin. It is also thought to help increase muscle growth.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Depending on which species of turtle is used to make this unusual food, it can be very expensive. So set aside some dough if you intend to try turtle shell jelly. Tuna eyeballs.
Action.
Now, before you go all squeamish on us, understand that people who eat these fish eyes say they taste pretty similar to squid. Although squid is a popular delicacy in many places globally, tuna eyeballs are more so a Chinese dish. The eyes are seasoned, boiled, and along with the eyeball itself, you are also treated to the surrounding muscles and fat that are still attached to the delicate organs. This way of eating the eyeballs is considered too bland for some, and they suggest you could saute the eyes with some sesame oil and ginger to punch up the flavor a bit.
Yeah, boy.
This method does sound a little more appetizing, but you'd still have to commit to eating big fish eyeballs, and that's a decision every person has to make for themselves. Snake soup.
It's snake meat.
Most people don't find snakes appetizing in any form, and this probably includes when they are used to make soup.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
There are, of course, exceptions. In China, a bowl of traditional snake soup, known as shigong, can contain as many as 5 different kinds of snake meat. There are many variations to this basic recipe with a wide range of ingredients that includes pork bones, chicken, and mushrooms. The different recipes also include a variety of herbs and spices, such as ginger. The blend of meats and spices are boiled for hours in a hearty broth until the snake meat is tender. It seems like these ingredients could combine to make some tasty soups if you left out the snakes. On the other hand, most people who have tasted snake meat say that it tastes a lot like chicken anyway. Stinky tofu.
Tofu? Oh.
Some foods have names that just don't sound very appealing, and stinky tofu is definitely one of them. Despite the name, it's one of the more popular snack foods in China. The stinky in stinky tofu isn't just some clever marketing campaign. This tofu actually does smell really bad, so try not to judge it by its smell alone.
Smells like opportunity.
The stinkiness can overpower people the first time they catch the aroma and is known to make your eyes water. However, if you can get past the questionable scent, you could be in for a real treat that has been enjoyed in China for a long time. The tofu is marinated in a combination of fermented milk and a meat, fish, and vegetable-based brine. The best stinky tofu is allowed to ferment for several months before it is sold by countless street vendors and small restaurants. Sheep's thingy.
You know what's below my waist? My pee.
Yes, that reproductive organ. This one seems like it would very much be an acquired taste, and perhaps that is why it's one of the unusual foods that only exists in China. Like some of the other foods on this list, many people in China believe sheep dingling has special properties that can boost your libido. Some people prefer to eat this dish raw, but it's unclear if this sheep body part tastes better raw instead of steamed.
What?
People who have sampled this Chinese delicacy say it has a distinctive flavor that you aren't likely to forget. However, the flavor of this dish often takes a back seat to the promised therapeutic properties people hope to experience. This particular food seems fairly unappetizing, so the search for improved sexual health seems like it could be one of the only reasons to give this unusual food a try. Roasted street bird.
Cuckoo-ca-cha! Cuckoo-ca-cha!
Now, roasted street bird may sound pretty mundane. However, the fact that whole birds, including pigeons, are served to you on sticks as street food is enough to make the list of unusual foods that only exist in China. Pigeons might be a deal breaker for more discriminating diners because in places like America, pigeons are often thought of as unclean, unappealing animals that should be avoided instead of consumed. The raw birds are marinated in various concoctions to increase flavor, and then the birds are roasted over a fire until they are a deep golden brown color. Like many other animals, these different street birds probably taste a lot like chicken.
Oh, right. Well, that is good to know.
However, the uninitiated will have to get over the idea that they are being offered a whole bird that still has the head, feet, and everything else. Silkworms.
Can we not talk about worms or sewers or rats today with all these people in here? We got a good thing going.
Many of us think of silkworms as the Chinese resource traditionally used to make precious silk as far back as 3000 BCE. While silkworms continue to have a big reputation in the textile industry, they also have a rep as a delicious delicacy. Much like Ron Burgundy, they're kind of a big deal. This is definitely not a common food everywhere. In China and Vietnam, silkworms are usually fried, but in some places, such as Korea, silkworms are seasoned and boiled.
Hold that thought.
Although neither of these cooking methods sound all that appetizing, eating worms and other kinds of insects is common in many places around the world. Beggar's chicken.
What? Winner, chicken dinner.
The name of this dish, Beggar's chicken, actually raises more questions than it answers because people disagree on the legendary origins of this popular chicken dish. However, we can agree it is one of the unusual foods that only exists in China. There is a specific time-consuming process to making Beggar's chicken, and it begins with stuffing a raw bird with a rich pork mixture. The stuffed chicken is then encased in clay and slowly roasted. This 6-hour-long process results in an extremely tender chicken, and then to finish the process, either a waiter or a diner uses a mallet to crack open the clay and reveal the Beggar's chicken ready to be eaten.
Perfect.
This recipe sounds like one that many chicken lovers would be willing to taste, because who doesn't love a tender chicken? Bamboo stuffed rice.
White rice, brown rice. Those are just some of the rices I love.
Bamboo stuffed rice sounds promising to the less risky eater when compared to some of the more unusual items on this list. Bamboo stuffed rice, sometimes called fragrant bamboo rice, is regular rice cooked in traditional bamboo tubes. They place the rice along with their choice of meats and spices in the bamboo tubes with some water and then seal the tube with some banana leaves. The makeshift container is baked on a charcoal fire until the wood turns black and the meat is cooked. Meat and rice dishes are popular all around the world, so this is one of the unusual foods that might be able to find an audience outside of China.
I love it. It is simply awesome.
You might not want to try tuna eyeballs or silkworms, but bamboo stuffed rice could be a different story. Shark fin soup.
Fish are friends, not food.
In China, a bowl of shark fin soup will set you back around $100. And although it is not so abundant in flavor at all, it is seen as a great luxury in Chinese culture. This soup is made using shark fins, and an astounding 73 million sharks are slaughtered every year just for their fins alone.
Why?
Shark cartilage is shredded to add texture to the expensive soup, and it is served at important events such as weddings and banquets. While it is enjoyed in some places in Southeast Asia, this soup's place in Chinese tradition is strong, dating back to its origins. It was actually created by an emperor during the Song Dynasty days and intended to be a symbol of power, wealth, and generosity. Scorpions. Many people may think of tacos or beef on a stick when they hear the word street food. But if you're living in China, you might be thinking about other foods such as scorpions. The small scorpions are usually fried in small batches and served on little sticks. The small scorpions get crispy and are heavily seasoned to create a convenient and tasty snack. No matter how much seasoning is used, you'll still have to get past the idea that it's a scorpion.
Pass. Yeah.
You'll have no trouble finding this food if you're walking the streets of Chinese cities such as Beijing, Chongqing, or Shanghai. Scorpions might not be for everyone, but if you're an adventurous eater, you might consider giving this Chinese delicacy a go. Bird's nest soup.
The secret ingredient is...
Bird's nest soup is also known as bird saliva soup. Yep, saliva. So for many people, this name already puts this dish in the unappealing category. However, for those still interested, this traditional dish is one of the more popular but controversial foods in China. Many Chinese people are willing to pay very high prices for this unusual delicacy. A bowl of this soup can be as much as $3,000 a pound.
Shut up and take my money!
Now that's a lot of zeros for some spit. They believe this unusual soup has special qualities that promote a long and healthy life for people who eat it regularly, but you'll have to spend a fortune to do so. Bird's nest soup is made using edible nests formed from the saliva of certain kinds of birds, such as swiftlets. The bird's nests are seen as nutritious and have a rich flavor, and definitely fall into the unusual foods category for those of us outside of China. We're serving up more great videos. Just tap or click, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell to join our notification squad. And hey, leave us a comment.